actually live. Hello, everyone. Apologies about the technical issues. So today we've got Sarah and Nicola from Ashford School who's come to join us on this live. They're working remotely at the moment from home because we're still in lockdown in the UK. But maybe Nicola and Sarah, if you could please introduce yourselves individually. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, Irene, and thank you very much for welcoming us today. My name is Sarah Kershaw. I'm the Director of Admissions, External Relations and Communications for Ashford School. So I look after the admissions team and the marketing activities that we do. My colleague Nick, she can introduce herself.
Thank you, Sarah. My name's Nicola Creasy. I'm the boarding registrar for Ashford School and have been for the last nearly 8 years. And I deal with all the initial applications for boarding students right up to the point where they join the school. So if you have any queries or applications, they would come first of all to me. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about the school now. Ashford School, as Irene mentioned, Nicola and I are working from home. The school is closed. However, we have 1,000 students and we have online lessons being delivered at the moment. Our teachers are in touch, our teachers are working, and the school is very much happening. However, we're just not in school at the moment. But if I tell you a bit about the school, that will hopefully give you a bit of an idea. So we're a well-established school. The school started in 1898, and we're a co-educational, independent day and boarding school. I give you a bit of a breakdown in a minute as to how many boarders and how many day pupils. But what's very lovely about our school, and one of the reasons why the school is so popular, is because we're in the heart of the Kent countryside. Kent is known as the Garden of England. It's particularly beautiful, but it also has lots of ways of access. So we're very close to the airports, the London airports. We also have international train lines. So going over to Europe is very easy. When it comes to school trips, again, we can access Europe and other countries very easily. In terms of the makeup of the school, we have just over 1,000 pupils, but that is including our 2 nursery schools. So we have babies in our 2 nurseries, we then have a prep school, and then we have a senior school. Of our senior school, we have 520 students, of which 1/3 of those are our boarding students. So still very much a day school with boarding. We have our boarders and our international students are from 31 different countries. That's just worth noting, because while we can benefit and enjoy the multicultural experience that our boarders bring and our international students bring, we also have 2/3 are British boarders, so we can enjoy the traditional British schooling as well. In terms of the split, we are just at the moment, it obviously changes every year, but we are very close to being 50-50. This year, the boys, we have slightly more boys than girls, but on the whole, we tend to be a 50-50 co-ed school. Now, the school, we have 4 main, our ethos is built on our 4 main strengths. We have a headmaster that's now been this is the end of his 2nd academic year. He's brought in very strong leadership, and he's embedded these 4 strengths and identities throughout the school. And we recognise ourselves as being academic rigor. We have academic rigor. We practice adventurous learning. We optimize potential, which is something that we stress quite often. You know, it's not about maximizing, it's about optimizing everybody's potential. And then we also celebrate individuality. We are a school that we are the size that we are not too big that you become a number, but we're small enough that everybody is noticed, and we get that opportunity to celebrate individuals all the time. So we have a reputation of excellence in support for students who want to attend the very best universities. And this is just a summary of some of the things that we do. So we have small classes at Ashford School, and very key is that a lot of our teachers haven't necessarily been teachers all of their profession. We have teachers from a wide variety of backgrounds. So for example, we have a former barrister, a nuclear scientist, a journalist, and we feel that this enriches the environment at school. So there's always something going on. I'm always asked what type of people will do well at Ashford School. And I always say a student who's interested in learning and lots of different things and exposing themselves to lots of different experiences. So you'll see here that we have a professional cricketer on our staff. We also, we have a modern pentathlete Olympian as well. So we have a really lovely mix of teachers. Academically, we are strong. These are our averages over the last 5 years. And while we are selective at A level, we are not selective lower down the school to a certain extent. So our grades are very, very strong, and we do offer good value, added value. Now, one of the things that Ashford School is particularly keen to explore is that what do you do in addition to the academics? We very much feel now that your academic results might get you an interview for that university, or they might get you an interview for that job. However, it's what else you can bring that will allow you to get that job or to get that university place. So we work very, very closely with every single one of our pupils to prepare them for their university applications. So we have a dedicated careers advisor, for example. Now, it's Dr. Kirsten Dickers. She used to work on the admissions department for Cambridge. So she's very, very good at helping our students develop their personal statements. And she works with them lower down the school so that they're very aware of what else they've got to do. And interesting, I was at a presentation quite recently where they were talking about personal statements and about preparing students for the future. And it was very much about, you have to look beyond what you're going to do. So think of the careers, think of these ideas, and Kirsten Dickers will help you do this. We have an extensive careers library. We also offer dedicated seminars to our Oxbridge applicants. And we also take the students that are interested in Oxbridge up to a conference. In terms of our Leavers destinations, this was last year, 72% gained their first choice, 50% went to a Russell Group university, and 26 gained a place in one of the top 10 UK universities. And as I say, we do have a list on our website of all of our Leavers destinations. And if you remember again that we're a non-selective school, we actually get very, very good results. Very important to boarding families, we know, is the pastoral care that we offer. We know that your children are going to be entrusted with the school. And so while academics is very important, we also put a lot of emphasis on the pastoral support that we can give your child. You'll see here part of the structure that our pastoral support is built on. So every pupil, their first point of call would be their form tutor. But we also operate a house system, which allows our students to get to know students, allows all our students to get to know the students in the other year groups. It's a vertical house system, and so your children would be allocated into a house when they joined Ashford School, and then within that house they would have, it's a smaller group of the school, so there would be assemblies, there would be house meetings and lots of inter-house activities, which really does allow our children to shine within their houses before the sort of big school. So we have our director of year 7 and 8. So as well as the form teacher, we also have directors of the year groups who are looking out for your children. Not only are they looking out for their well-being, they will also be looking out for their academic progress. So we have a number of measures in place that ensures that your child will be improving and progressing. We have a head of boarding, we have a school chaplain, We have a health centre on site where we have 3 full-time nurses, all qualified, and we have a doctor that comes in as well. And then we also, all of these people are headed up by our deputy head for pastoral. Now her name's Nikki Timms. Now, the support group I've shown you there so far has been very much about the school. But what we also do is we encourage the students to look after themselves as well, because we're trying to develop independent children that are going to go on to university. So we offer a buddy system. So any students that are new in school would be buddied up with somebody. We also have house captains, peer mentors, and then also older students. They might go on training, they might, and they're there to help all students. And I think it's important to say, especially when children are joining the school, that we make sure that there's lots of support put in place, because we really believe that happy children will be successful children. It's not the other way round. They have to be happy. So I said to you earlier that we place a lot of emphasis on building personal statements and encouraging our children to be as interesting or interested people that they possibly can be. So we call them the hard to measure personal qualities. So we have a very extensive co-curricular program. Now our program is actually embedded within our curriculum. So especially for the younger year groups, it isn't an option. Your children are encouraged to take on extracurricular activities. So we have period 7 of every day is dedicated to your children trying out a new skill, whether that would be a language or a sport or a musical instrument or part of the drama club or the orchestra. We have debating club. We have 80 activities that they can choose. And as your children progress through the school, they then start to narrow down the choices, because we hope that they'll start to identify where their strengths are. But as if they were to join us in year 7, for example, every night would be a new activity. I've got some just examples here. Chess club, art club, we have food studies, we have CCF, which is the Cadet Combined Forces club. We also do Duke of Edinburgh's Award, Young Enterprise, lots and lots of different schemes that will allow your children to really, really gain lots from school. Here's some more of our facilities. Now, talking about our sports facilities, we have all the facilities. We have a 25 acres of playing fields. We have a fitness suite, dance studio. We have swimming pools. Swimming is a huge part of Ashford School. We have sports centre, tennis courts, AstroTurf. We also have strong links with local sports clubs. Now, music, again, we have an eclectic group of bands. We know that everybody's tastes might be very, very different. So if your children are into jazz, for example, they could join the jazz band. Alternatively, we have more traditional choirs or choral groups. Depending on their ability, we have junior groups like Elastic Band, for example. It's for the beginner levels of wind instruments. However, we then have much more sophisticated, difficult groups, depending on standard. And we have about 25 concerts a year, which just goes to show how much music plays at Ashford School. The other thing, and it's not on my spreadsheet, but it's worth knowing as well, that we are an all Steinway school. So we have Steinway pianos, and we have 2 beautiful grand pianos. And once a year, we have a piano concert where the 2 grands play, and we have duets. It's just a stunning, stunning concert. So when it comes to, oh, it's just popped up that my internet's unstable. Can you still see everything?
Yes.
Yeah? Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes, okay, thank you. So when it comes to art, design and technology, we have a fabulous art and design team headed up by Mrs. Nicola Creasy. Now, Nicola Creasy is an artist in her own right. Oh, sorry, not Nicola Creasy, Nicola Rayner.
Nicole Rayner.
You're not an artist.
Definitely not.
Nicole Rayner, she's an artist in her own right. She is an oil painter. We actually have 4 other teachers in our art department, all professionals in their own right. We have a ceramist, a photographer, and a digital animator. So we aim to instill and develop creativity in all our pupils, and depending on when they come in, if you come in the lower years, you are taught in lots and lots of different mediums, so that as you progress through to your GCSE, that you can then be as creative as and skilled as you possibly can, and interpret the brief as you want to. Okay, so this is just some of the areas that we would cover in our art and design. So drawing, painting, ceramics, digital imaging software. We know that a career in art, they say that 95% you will need digital skills. So we cannot just allow our art classes just to be practical. We need to be teaching the digital imaging software as well. Okay, so a little bit about boarding now. We have 4 boarding houses. They are all on our site. I've talked a bit about the pastoral care that we offer, and predominantly we have single and double bedrooms. If your children join in year 7 or 8, it may be that they're in a 3 or a 4. We do not have any dormitory style bedrooms. They're mostly doubles, really. What we like to do is pair your child up with somebody who they'll get on with, that will help them in school. We have a full programme of evening and weekend activities, and we do encourage regular home contact. And it depends on the child as to how much they contact home, but we will always help to facilitate that. One thing that we were often asked is EXIAT weekends, and we can confirm that we don't have EXIAT weekends. Here's just a few pictures of some of our boarders, and the man there in the bottom picture is Chris Liston. He's our director of boarding. Okay, so that finishes my presentation. We just have our school little mini video now that if I press play and technology works, this will finish my presentation, so I'll press play. Thank you. Oh. This, is it coming?
Just buffering, I think.
Yeah. This was the first slide. Oh, here, first slide on the other presentation, so it might not open. I tell you what I can do though, is if we're on Facebook.
Oh, it's so tempting, isn't it?
I know. What I can do is I will pin this video to the top of Ashford School's Facebook group. And so that will be very easy to find. It will be at the very top, and I'll do that after this meeting. Oh, it might play. We'll give it a minute or 2.
It's trying very hard.
I know. Irene, do you think that would be all? Oh, look here. Now, is that on pause?
Yeah, I think that means it's not playing.
Okay, fine. I will pin it to the top of the Ashford School website and Ashford School Facebook group, and then people can look in. Now, this video, it's a real shame we're not sharing it because it's a snapshot of everything that happens at Ashford School. It shows our facilities, it shows everything from our refectory to some of our lessons. So I do encourage you to dip in and have a little look if you can.
Yeah, and we can also share it to any parents who want to see it. We can email it to them as an attachment as well.
Thank you, Irene. Thank you.
Thanks, Irene.
Okay. So that's everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we've actually got a few questions.
Fire away.
Great.
From some parents here. So let me go through them. What are the weekends like? Can the kids go to London and visit?
It would all depend on how old they are. So the older students would be able to go up to London if they were visiting friends and family. But obviously, if they're younger, we would obviously have to have a check. Sometimes we do organise trips up to London, so it might be that a group trip is arranged. It's very easy to get to London. It's 36 minutes on the train, one train, so it's very, very quick and easy.
We do ask for the parents' permission as well by email, I think 48 hours before, just to know that the parents know that they're going.
Yeah. So how old is that from, that they can travel into London?
If they're being met by a guardian the other end, it's usually from year 9 upwards. But if they're going alone for a birthday celebration or something similar, they'd have to be in year 12 to go, so A level.
Okay. And so with the sponsorship, the Tier 4 sponsorship, do you sponsor from year 9 or is it from prep school?
From prep school, so from the age of 4, we can sponsor them.
Okay. And do the parents have to be with them?
We would, well, if they were a day pupil, we would expect the parents to be with them, yes. If they want to board, then it would be from year 6 upwards, so the age of 10 upwards.
Okay. And let's see, if the school's going to reopen in September, are there any policy against coronavirus?
Well, Sarah, you're probably the right person for that one.
It's actually something that the senior leadership team are working on at the moment. We have a very, very experienced head nurse who actually, her husband is a GP. So we have a lot of expertise. And so we would make sure that all precautions are in place. We haven't published any kind of policy just yet, but in terms of following government guidelines and ensuring the highest safety levels are maintained, we would be putting something in place and we would communicate that with our families.
Okay. And how frequent does a doctor come into the school? Because you were saying there's a health center and you've got your in-house nurses, but how frequent does a doctor come and visit?
Well, if there aren't any sort of sick children, it would be it's twice a week usually. In normal circumstances, it would be twice a week. If required more, then we can arrange more, but it's usually twice a week.
Okay. And what are the termly tuition fees like?
Nick, do you want to do the fees?
Yep. So for weekly boarding, which is five nights a week, so we also offer weekly as well as full boarding. If a family has relatives in London that the student wants to go and live with at the weekends, we can also facilitate that. So the fees are £8,300 per term, and there are 3 terms, and that's for weekly boarding. And then full boarding, 7 days a week, and just returning home in the holidays, that's £12,300 per term.
Okay. Let's see.
And that's a one-off fee. So it includes most things. It includes activities, trips, stationery, everything that the student needs for the curriculum, apart from uniform and sports kit. So most things are included, all the meals, accommodation, everything else.
Okay. And does that include extracurricular activities and music lessons, etc.?
It includes extracurricular or co-curricular activities up to a point. So if they wanted to do something which the school doesn't offer on site, for example, if someone wanted to go horse riding or playing golf, something that the school doesn't regularly offer, that would be a cost to the parents that would be added to their school fees invoice at the end of the term. All other activities that the school provides are included. There is a specialist English as an additional language department in school as well, and they will give tuition to the children depending on the needs. So their job is to make sure that the child has university level English by the time they're ready to apply to university. There's an additional fee for that. And music lessons, we do offer private drama and music lessons, and that is an additional cost if the child, but it's optional. So anything that's optional like that would be at an additional cost.
Okay. And do you have any kind of SEN support at the school?
Sarah?
Absolutely. So our SEN is headed up by Sharon Thompson. Sharon Thompson she assesses our pupils when they arrive into school and would ascertain what needs that they have. And then a number of our teaching assistants or Sharon herself would be there to implement any interventions that are needed. We also have our our EAL department who offer additional language support if needed. There's 4 people in the EAL department. And again, based on the assessments, it would depend on how much support is needed. But yes, we do have both SEN and EAL.
Okay, fantastic. So again, a coronavirus question. When do you think the schools are going to open?
Oh, as soon as possible, I hope.
I have to say that's $1 million question, and we will be following government advice, and we cannot say when we think. We are prepared to open the moment schools can open. We will open, and we very much hope that we'll be open in September, if not before. But we will be following government advice.
Okay, thank you. So I guess the last question is really from me. Because there's so many independent schools in the UK, how would you say Ashford is different from other boarding schools, and why should parents choose Ashford when they're given so many different options? What do you think is Ashford's best points, or what makes Ashford stand out?
I would say, Nick, do you mind if I answer?
No, I don't mind at all.
I speak as a parent myself, and also because as part of my role, I talk to lots and lots of current families, and I do lots of tours around the school. And I would say it's very, very strong that the relationship our pupils have with our teachers and the pastoral care and support that they give is very strong. And so when I held up the 4 strengths and I talked about optimizing potential, I would say that probably is one of the key strengths and what does really differentiate us from other schools, in that we take the time to get to know every single child individually. And if you talk to our director of sixth form, for example, we usually have about 160 students in our sixth form, and it's very, very likely that 160 students will do a different program and will come out with a set of qualifications and a set of experiences that is unique to them. And so I would say it's us getting to know students, and the way that we look after our students differentiates us.
I would say we're quite lucky with the position of the school as well, in the fact that it's on the edge of the countryside. It's beautiful countryside, clean air, but we're still only 37 minutes from London, and we retain that nice family atmosphere. Everybody does know your name, and I think that is really important, and I think that makes us unique as well.
Great. So there's one more question, actually. If the school doesn't open in September, with the new applicants, will they then have online lessons?
Absolutely, yes. They would have online lessons, and then we would be ready to open as soon as the school does. Our online lessons, and in actual fact, this is on our website as well. We have an online learning guidebook that has just been released. It summarises all of the lessons and the timetables that our pupils are getting. Feedback that we've had from parents is very, very strong. We're very lucky in that we have Dr. Neelam Palmer, who is our Director of e-learning. She actually advises the Department of Education. She has the biggest CV you can imagine when it comes to EdTech and e-learning. So luckily for us, I felt that we were ahead of the game when it came to online learning. So it was a very, very smooth transition. So if people are concerned or worried about the online learning we're providing, then I would definitely recommend they look at this booklet or they talk to us. But yes, it would be online learning in September, if, and we really hope that we're not, but if the school is closed.
Yes. Well, there's nothing at the moment to say when the schools are opening, unfortunately. So we're all patiently waiting at home and
Absolutely.
maintaining social distancing. So with regard to the online learning, absolute last question now, is there an actual teacher that that students can ask questions to, or is it more like homework style?
No, not at all. Absolutely. If I just tell you very briefly about the online provision that we're offering, is that it's live lessons. So all of our students are accessing a timetable and lessons are live. There's registration twice a day. And the teachers are there the entire time that the lesson is on. Now, depending on the teacher and depending on the subject, some teachers are opting for PowerPoint presentations with voiceovers. Other teachers, probably the ones that are a little bit more confident, are doing live lessons through Teams. But I have to say, even in the 3 weeks that we've been delivering, the confidence of teachers has massively grown, and there's more and more live lessons. What we're also doing is students are still submitting work, having work marked, and there's also still group discussions going on. So it's very much as close to an actual lesson as you can get.
Perfect. Sounds very good, actually, the online lesson. Yeah.
It's good. Good.
Thank you very much, Sarah and Nicola, for your time today. If any parents have any other questions aside from the ones asked on Facebook, please feel free to either message us on Facebook or send us an email or send us a WhatsApp on the inquiries number. We'll put it on the Facebook title so that you have all the information. We'll also add Ashford's link to our Facebook page so that they can view the video.
Brilliant.
But if any parents want to see wants a video sent to them via email, please just let us know and we can send that via email as well.
That's lovely.
Thank you, Irene.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.